Welcome to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together, we're working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts have ever seen.
And today, we're wrapping up our politics mark month with Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Hooray!
Yeah. Yes, this movie is a very new release for us, which is great. Mainly because we're planners, and so we couldn't do it any sooner than this. Because
Yeah, it worked well, though.
Yeah, it worked out great. Yeah, and it's based on a novel of the same name, which, if you like the movie, you should definitely read the book.
Ugh, I love the book so much.
The book is so good. Yeah, and the main thing I was like, I don't want this podcast to just be all the things that we wish were in the movie instead and aren't in the movie. So yeah, just read the book. But there are some like pretty big changes, both like missing characters, like a massive structural, not structural, but like the main plot line, other than like them falling in love. Like they still fall in love, and it's kind of the same.
Don't worry about that.
Like,
yeah, that's the same. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff.
The politics plot is totally different. And obviously, like, it's a 500 or like 400 and something page book. Like, it's a pretty long book, so you can't take everything into a movie. But I'm still sad.
Yeah, it definitely bummed me out. Although on this rewatch, I think I probably knew already, but Casey McQuinton, the author, is an executive producer, so...
Yeah, exactly. If the author's okay, and, like, they're in the movie, like, they have a cameo as a speechwriter in the...
Yeah.
At the, like, election night scene. Yeah, so, like, I think the author is okay with it, and, like, and also, obviously... It's a massive book. I'm just sad because some of my favorite stuff got cut. That's just life. Yeah. Is there any major... I guess the big thing is just that there's some awesome characters that are either way shrunk or not in it at all.
Yeah, so that would be June, his sister.
Yeah, his sister.
And Zara is pretty shrunk, and so is...
Nora.
Yeah, I met Nora, not Zara. Two.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Similar
so
names.
Like,
yeah, Nora. So basically his, Alex's
family support
system.
Yeah. Like Nora, his best friend, and his sister are turned into one very, like, pretty minor character. Like, she's probably, like, the third biggest character, but still.
Yeah. And also Henry's sister.
Yeah.
Henry's sister is also quite diminished.
Yeah,
so.
She goes from, like, a huge role with, like, a really important storyline to, like, barely in it with other than just, like, a supportive
she's just
sister.
kind of there. Just maybe got, like, a dozen lines.
Yeah. And then, like, Alex's sort of, like, mentor / you think maybe foe is totally cut. I don't really understand why, but the queen is replaced with the king.
It's an interesting thing in this, like, queer POC book with, like, super representation, lots and lots of things, talking about all sorts of different things, written by an amazing author, and it's just weird. Like, I know male characters are also cut, but I feel kind of like it's 3 main female characters are, like, cut or severely diminished, and they changed the gender of the monarch for question mark reasons. Yeah,
it's weird, especially because it would have been done and decided, like, the movie came out after Queen Elizabeth died.
Yeah, but it would have been done beforehand.
They were making it before she died.
So, like, I'm guessing, like, I'm 99% sure that they had a chance to cast Stephen Fry, and that's why.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Stephen Fry wants to do this movie, so how can we make that work? And there wasn't really any other way.
Yeah, I was trying to think of British women who would be appropriate ages, and everyone I can think of has already played the queens.
Yeah, because like Vanilla Staunton would have been amazing, but she's kind of doing that already.
Gillian Anderson hasn't played the queen, but she's in The Crown, and she's not old enough. Well, she could pull off anything, but I also think she's probably too big for this.
Yeah. So maybe it was just a casting choice and whatever. Yeah. So there's obviously lots of differences, but the main storyline. And I guess the other thing is you miss, because it's a movie and it's such a visual medium, you miss a ton of, like, the flirting and the wooing and the romance that happens through the letters that they send each other. Yeah, and, like, I don't know, I made a note about this further down, but, like, this is definitely part that's missing. And it wasn't just the letters that they wrote, but they put in, like, really thoughtful, interesting quotes and stuff and into the letters that like sort of showed. I think a lot of it was showing like Alex's education into like queer literature and also Henry's education into like Hispanic literature, like.
And also, I don't know what the official term of this is, but the historic they were roommates people.
Yeah.
Of lots of people who write letters to each other who are just friends, and you read the quotes and you're like,
yeah.
I think maybe,
Yeah, so like suspected
yeah,
queer people. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely missed that. They do, and I guess maybe might as well say like they did some cool stuff because it's a movie, like putting them in the same room when they're on the phone or texting
I
back
like
and
that
forth.
the way that they did it was
cool.
really cool. Yeah, it was just
and like the scene where they're both lying on Alex's bed except Henry's in England, and then towards like as they're saying goodbye, his voice sounds like it's coming through a phone. Like
yeah, it's a really cool effect, and it's a really I liked that montage, but I was like, but then in the book, this is like 300 pages.
Yeah, yeah. Because once they like get together, both like once they first kiss and then once they're together, they hardly in the movie show them writing letters and emails.
Yeah, especially
obviously they have to a little bit because
that's the
plot.
crux of the climax.
Yeah, like the letters get hacked, but there were so many more in the book. But again, things have to get cut. Okay. Other observations.
Yes. So we obviously watched a lot of movies about politics, even definitely maybe because that was based partially in the 90s, even though it wasn't actually in the West Wing. And then also, I don't think it's surprising to anybody that we're now watching the West Wing.
Yes.
And I think going from my watching of the West Wing, or especially early seasons, and their terrible suits,
oh my God.
Male and female, going to see what they're wearing in the West Wing now in 2023, 22 when they filmed this. I was just like, oh boy, such a change for the better. Like their powered dresses, which I don't think really existed in the 90s.
No, women were mostly wearing like skirts and
they're wearing skirts or pantsuits.
Pantsuits,
so boxy.
So boxy, yeah.
Yeah,
the one thing that I did notice, and like it's never really clear what Zara's job title is. I think she's
supposed to be deputy chief of staff.
Yeah, she's like the Josh Lyman, but she wears often like a sweater and pants, which just seems like one level too casual for like Oval Office. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure like I don't know. I think they say it somewhere like every president, like their West Wing reinvents itself, and the president is not that much more dressed up than that when she's in the Oval either.
Even when she's in the Oval, so I think it's just. Yeah, their style choices
just is more casual, and also I guess to help show a distinction between Henry, who wears very formal suits all the time,
and Alex,
Alex wears nobody knows,
just random things,
all the things. Yep.
Speaking of which, I love Zara. She's amazing in the book. She's amazing in the movie. She's got so much to deal with, and she does it great. Yeah, and also Amy, the Secret Service. Is great. She's exactly, all those movies, which we will get to eventually, of befriending your Secret Service, maybe to too much levels. Ooh.
Yeah.
And stuff. But like being friends with your Secret Service agent sounds nice. If that's your life.
Yeah. Or at least like they're the person that you're probably going to see the most. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, regardless of the casting decisions, Stephen Fry is really good in this. So
he is really good.
Also that.
Yeah, he plays such an asshole, but like really well.
Yep. And just says like his pompous accent of like homosexually, or I can't do it because I'm not a British snob.
Yes,
but
he pronounces every letter in the word homosexual like maybe multiple times. Yeah. So good.
While we're maybe the last West Wing reference of the episode, maybe. According to the trivia, the writer has seen every episode of West Wing and is a huge fan. So one of the things that they slightly change here is a reporter that Alex talks to, and Alex off the cuff is distracted and says to him, yes, we have a secret plan to win Texas. And that is a direct reference to a secret plan to fight inflation.
Indeed.
Which is amazing. And I love it.
So good. so good. The movie also, I think, really draws good attention to lots of visual things that like wouldn't necessarily be worthy to put in a book, or you might not notice so much like casual references to things in a book, but like you really see them. So throughout it, when Henry's nervous, he fidgets. When he has it, he fidgets with this signet pinky ring, and then he gives it to Alex. And then when he's nervous meeting with the king, he goes to fidget with it. Oh, it guts me. He goes to fidget with it and it's not there. And Alex notices and like gives him his hand to like hold his pinky.
Ugh.
And I'm like, oh, it's so cute. So cute. And yeah, so that's when I was like, okay, there is some valid, other than just like casting hot people in this movie, of making it a movie, because there's lots that you notice that you wouldn't put in a book. Like you can't, I mean, you can put that in a book, but I don't think it has the same.
No, because it would be a different thing. And similarly, when they're in Texas and Alex is proclaiming his love, and the shot is just on Henry's face, and you can see his entire world crumble, and like he figures out that he can't do this anymore, and it's just like the acting is incredible, and it's saying so much without, because in the book that's just from Alex's point of view, and then Henry goes away. So, but in this one, you just see exactly what's happening to him. Yeah. So that's a visual thing that you wouldn't be able to get.
You see a lot earlier, I guess, than you understand in the book. Like, it's both like Henry loves him and also like doesn't want this life. And in the movie, you don't get that until their big like speech when Alex comes and confronts him in England. When it's like, you know, I'm already like, I want to be less in the public eye than I currently am, and you have this dream of like being president, like that doesn't work. And like, and so you realize, maybe not the exact details early, but you realize that like Henry's life is so different than Alex's, as much as they're both in the public eye. Like Henry's ability, or like not just ability, but like emotional ability to stand up for himself and separate himself from his family, like he doesn't feel like he can do that. And Alex maybe like feels like he shouldn't, but he still feels like he can. And then does. Like Alex is much less inhibited, both personality wise and also life wise.
Yeah, definitely.
And like has supportive parents who, even if the politics are going to shit, he knows his parents would still love him.
Yeah,
Henry
which is very
doesn't have that. If the politics go to shit with Henry, that's all that's
everything
grandmother, grandfather cares about. So so they do a really good job showing that. That scene's really heartbreaking, because it's like Alex is having this beautiful moment and Henry's like having a massive anxiety attack about his life falling apart. Ugh, heartbreaking.
These boys and their eyelashes.
Oh my god, so many eyelashes. Oh, I guess Uma Thurman's the other person that we didn't mention, other than her like hit you over the head Texas accent. She's really good.
I really like her. She's a good, fun president mom, similar to the book. She's a great character in the book as well, but I think she does a good job. It's a little bit the accent is strange, and also is similar to Stephen Fry. Like it's a little bit of random stunt casting, but whatever.
I thought like Uma Thurman obviously is like not as famous as she was 15 years ago or whatever.
But it's just she's literally the only one in the movie with name recognition. To me, I don't know these boys.
Neither of them. Hadn't really been anything famous before this.
So
no, for sure. But you know, in a small role, I guess it makes kind of sense to get.
I think what is happening is I'm comparing it to a tier down level Hallmark movie, you know, the level below that's always on Netflix, where this woman goes to a small town and the only name recognition person is Andie MacDowell, and she also has a weird Southern accent. So I think those are kind of like mixing in my head.
Interesting. Okay, well, I think we should move on to tropes, because there's
because so many. Oh my goodness, I kept writing. I'm sure I missed some.
Okay.
So obvious one, of course, enemies to lovers.
Yes. But as you realize when we get to another trope of like being stuck in a small space, like confined spaces leads to truth. Like Henry hated how much he loved Alex, not hated Alex. And Alex just didn't understand
what was happening.
Yes, it was like enemies to misunderstanding to lovers to in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a complicated thing.
Yeah, but first they have to have a big, embarrassing, inciting incident.
Oh my god. It's so crazy, and there's like some behind the scenes of how they filmed it, and people got to like throw cake at their faces for the close-up, and it looks really fun. And then they got
that sounds super fun.
Covered in icing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It
Awesome.
looked pretty fun. Yeah, because obviously they didn't actually drop a giant cake on them, because cakes are heavy. Like, that would hurt.
Yeah. And it would be a lot of food waste.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my god, just a giant cake. Yeah, so messy. Very fun. And then so they get stuck in a small space, like a maintenance closet, and they reveal some truths and have some perspective changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There is a sleazy reporter who
so sleazy.
is like, they're like, if you didn't know that important characters from the book were cut, that contributed to this storyline, which had to do with the email hacking, you would be like, why is this guy here at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's basically there to help solidify Alex's bi awakening, and then at the end be the sleazy guy with like no reasons at all. Like, it's very, I needed someone to blame this on.
Yeah, like I did it because he turned me down. Like, it's so weird. Oh, there is a really good scene also, again, that like you can't convey in a book, but that slow motion and everybody fades away during a dance. And they do it so cleverly because it like there is like an actual in-story reason for everybody to fade away, because it's like the shorty got low and so everybody drops.
Yeah, it goes down.
And they don't, because they're making hard eyes at each other.
Yeah, it's just like Lizzie and Darcy dancing to Shorty Got Low.
Exactly. Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
And then, of course, secret romance.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yep.
But before it's a romance, they're just hooking up, right? It's just very casual.
It's very casual.
Nobody's falling in love.
Nobody. Yeah, we're just going to keep it casual, guys. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, but then as they have many, many clandestine hookups, another
Oh my
trope.
Goodness. So many.
Yep. Like, he hides in a closet.
Yeah.
I love that scene, because Zara's so mad.
I know, Zara's so mad, and then she yells and yells and yells at all of them, and then she turns around and curtsies.
Yeah, she's like,
because that's what she needs to do.
But also, like, in the middle of getting yelled at, they're like still being so cute with each other. Like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah, and then a very important romantic hand weaving fingers together shot during sex, so that you know that they are in love, so it's okay that they're having premarital sex.
Yep. They have, it's like that whole scene is like, it goes from cringy to so sweet.
Yeah, but it's still like, really?
But it's still so tropey. Yeah.
How much oil was used on these boys?
Oh my god, so much. So much. And then we have our personal fave that I feel like we love all the time is side character romances. But they're so cut down.
Yeah.
So like
but I do
Nora
love them.
and Percy are very flirty, but you don't really hardly see them together other than like in the background. And then you hear about Sean and Zara, but I want the whole book of Sean and Zara.
Oh yeah, me too.
I mean, the internet
so bad.
seems to think, I mean, the internet's delusional, but the internet seems to think there's a sequel coming, and I'm like, no, there's not.
No.
Like, there's no plot in a sequel. It's just a wedding.
Yeah.
But I want the Sean and Zara storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anyways, yeah, so many tropes. Okay, Lindsay, does this pass the Bechdel test?
Yes, but so this is a technical yes, because there is some like POTUS and Zara talking about politics, and I'm sure there's other stuff like just, the throwaway ones that we miss, but we use as a technical guide. But again, similar to Fire Island, this is probably a pass in general, because this is a Bechdel test and it's got problems like we talk about. But this is a queer main couple. One of them is a person of color. Also, POTUS and the UK Prime Minister are female. Yeah. So that's all great.
And the UK Prime Minister is black also.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I do minus points for cutting June and B's storyline and Zara's storyline and switching the monarch. So I give it a B+.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. Should we make a pie?
Yeah.
Okay. Shots of a signet ring on multiple pinkies. I don't even know. Like 30? 30?
Yeah, 30.
30%? 30% signet shots. Ties. So many ties.
So many
much
ties.
Discussion about ties.
Yep.
So many different ties. Also suits, but mostly ties.
Mostly ties. Well, like, they never talk about the suits. They talk about the ties.
They talk about the ties. Yeah.
Yeah. 25?
Yeah, 25. Okay. Boys with ridiculous eyelashes.
Oh my god.
Just
It's like the old thing in the movies, these eyelashes.
so many eyelashes. It's like starring that guy and their eyelashes.
Yep. Separate billings.
I don't know, like 10%?
Yeah. Yeah.
For like one of the smallest body parts, it seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got sharing clothes. Well, I only noticed Henry wearing Alex's clothes. He wears his hoodie that Alex wears when he goes to talk to Nora at her office. Henry wears that hoodie when they're at the museum. And then Henry also wears Alex's hat when they're at karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably also his other clothes, because I don't feel like Henry owns clothes appropriate for Texas dive bars.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So again, like other visual things that you get in a movie that they don't need to talk about.
Maybe 10 again?
Sure.
Yeah.
And that leaves us with 25%,
Yep.
which seems appropriate for hitting you over the head with a Texas accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. And even when I watched the trailer, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. You get used to it.
You do get used to it, but it's
still a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I don't really know that many people from Texas, so
it's also
I
true.
don't know like how extreme, like, is it actually over the top, or I'm just not used to hearing Texas accents? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of who I know from Texas, and all I can think of is Matt Santos. Which again, told you I was going to sneak one more reference in there.
Yeah.
So.
And also, like, Texas is big, so there's different accents in Texas. But
yeah, like I know a lot of people who've lived in Texas, but not from Texas. Yeah.
And also, I feel like that's a huge part of her presidency thing, that like she kind of would put it on, like like try not to lose it.
Not to lose it. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Anyways, Lindsay, what's next for them?
I don't know. They've got a lot of interesting times ahead of them. Also, they're like 22, but I feel that they would have a good long-term plan. Yeah. Again, it's not really solved in the movie, but things really do turn around for Henry in the book. Yeah. So I feel that would help a lot. And I feel
the book
good feelings.
gives you more details about like they are actually like talking about what they really want in life after they sort of like get back together, like after Henry leaves and then they get back together. So they do actually communicate about like how they want to live their life and what they're going to do and blah blah blah. So based on information from the book, I would say yes. Yeah, they will live happily ever after. Yeah, but like with a lot of work, because they both have complicated lives, as do we all. Yes. And Lindsay, what's next for us in November?
Well, it's Alan Rickman, our favorite, except when he's bad.
I like him even when he's bad, or maybe especially. I don't know.
Well, I meant bad more in Love Actually as opposed to Die Hard.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's very, very different
kinds of bad.
Anyway, but we're starting with one of the best, probably the best, although we'll have to do some extensive research. So we will be starting with everybody's November favorite movie, Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, it's so good. I'm very excited. I haven't seen it for so long.
I know. We're too busy watching all of Pride and Prejudice for me to watch it in the spring like I normally do.
Indeed.
And then we will be doing Truly, Madly, Deeply, which neither of us has seen, so that will be interesting. And then when it is appropriately timed, it's probably the last week of November, for the Patreon, we'll be releasing Love Actually to discuss our favorite problematic movie.
Oh my gosh. It'll be great. And Christmassy, but not too Christmassy. End of November Christmassy.
End of November Christmassy, and full of swoons and
problematic faves. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Don't forget that you can rate or review us wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also find us on social media. We're at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and we're at Charts and Hearts on Twitter.
Yep. And you can also head to our website, chartsandhearts.com, where you can submit your suggestions for rom-coms and tropes for us to add to the list. I did just want to say, I was thinking back when I was doing the Bechdel test stuff about we are trying to have some representative movies. Rom-coms are very white and very straight. But if you have suggestions for us about LGBTQ movies or people of color, please send them our way.
Or
because
non-English language movies.
Yep.
Also,
because we just are two white geriatric millennial women.
Yep.
And we lived in a world of white rom-coms. White straight rom-coms.
Yeah.
So send them along.
We're always open to great suggestions.
Yeah.
And as always, you can let us know your thoughts on this movie. And in the meantime, I am what some men call exquisite. Oh, I love Nora.